Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us on Late Night Leos. We have Yvonne on with us tonight. We don't even know what we're going to talk about. She has so many random animals. Jeff Scott is our co-host. You want to say hi, Jeff?
Hi, Jeff. Oh, hi.
Hi, Jeff. And also the lovely Yvonne. Yvonne, you want to say hi?
Hi, y'all.
So, Yvonne, what exactly do you keep?
Oh,
what kind of animals?
I
know you're not just. I know it's. Yeah, just give us a rundown on it. We have 2 hours.
What about the sponsors?
It would take. Yeah, you want to do sponsors first, and then we'll.
Sorry.
Well, we could take a break too.
Okay.
Break, have a nap, have refreshments. Well, right off the top, naturally everybody knows that we have the leopard geckos, and in those we have Sunglow and Rainwater, Diablo Blanco. We have some wonderful Murphy patternless from Gecko Boa. Our Sunglows and Rainwater come out of Marsha's animals because those are my favorite. And that's how I originally got involved with leopard geckos, was fell in love with the bright orange geckos and just thought that that was amazing, and then discovered Sunglows. But then after I discovered the Sunglows, I discovered Rainwaters, and after that it was pretty much over with leopard geckos. But we have not a whole lot of different morphs. We kind of stick to just certain morphs this year. Well, next year we're actually going to be breeding some very nice Trimpers that were given to us by a good friend of ours. But we kind of stick with the same 4 or 5 leopard geckos each year. Next year we are definitely going to be breeding our Ingermanu. Very excited about those. Those are
you got some of those
geckos.
lucky.
Yeah, we've been raising those out for a while. But we have Halmahera, which is a Gyra marginata, and we have Pickle, of course. Everybody knows Pickle, which is the, I don't even know if I know how to say this word correctly, Koch's giant day gecko?
Sounds good to me.
Easy. Kids got to listen to this too. So.
Yeah, Koch's giant day. Well, it's a pickle. Everybody knows what a pickle is. And we have lychees, which are the Grand Terra Yate Mount Kogus crosses. We have one of those from Philippe and one from Steve, which actually I think that particular one that we got was out of Frank's lines. But and we have our Crusties, and we have a pet Chihuahua that we got from Michael Pannone from Charming Chewies, and she's a retired pet. We do not breed those. I just have her so she can sit around and chew on me. But I had always been told that Chihuahuas were very, very personable, and the opportunity came up to give her a home after her retirement, and everybody that has ever talked about how personable they are was dead on the money, because they are very alert and very into what you're doing, and she pays attention to where I am in the room, just very watchful, neat gecko. We have white-lined geckos, which I think are called also skunk geckos and skeleton geckos. And we have Blasodactylus boivini, which are your Madagascar velvet geckos. But there's like 15 or 16 of that specific variety that go under the blanket term of velvet gecko. But of those 15 variety, we have the boivini, which is one of the more common ones that you'll see. We have tokays. We have the little tiny fish scale geckos, which is the Geckolepsis typica. And we have a pet Nephorus, and I'm probably going to murder this one too, because I always say Millie, but it's Millie, little barking gecko.
Yep.
Yeah. And we have the little fake spiny sun gazers, which are the forest armadillo lizards. Those are neat little lizards. They are so cool.
Yep.
And
they are cool.
They're so fun. They have a big 40-gallon naturalistic type terrarium that they are set up in, And these are like the clowns of the lizard world because they run around and literally play freeze tag, and they will grab each other by the foot. And you would think that if you did not know any better, you would think that they were vicious and trying to kill each other. But they will tow each other around by the tail or the leg, and then it's like, okay, now it's your turn. And that one will let go of that one, and then the other one will chase the other one.
Wow.
And they're really cool. And my husband, every now and then, would go, we could use that shelf for something else, and I just give him the stare. Don't touch the armadillos. And I don't know why I call them my alligator lizards because they're just such cool. If anybody wants a neat little lizard that's very low maintenance, that does not want to play with them that much, these are just a super interesting, the little girdled forest armadillo lizards. We also have basilisk, we have blue-tongued skinks, we have fire skinks, European legless. We have our ball pythons. Oh, and we got a new baby from, I want to say chimera. I don't know if you say it chimera or chimera. Reptiles down in Florida. We just got a baby amyloid panther, which is something that I've waited a long time to do. One of those, I knew I had the ability to raise it, but kind of had a wobbly confidence because you hear so many people talk about how difficult they are to raise with watching their humidity and this and that and everything else. So, and then we have the parrots and the dogs and everything else that goes with it. And there's a cat trying to eat a French fry right now. Off. No, you get down.
No horses? You don't have horses?
Our daughter has those now. We used to travel and show and ride and everything all the time, every weekend, and that is something that we totally got out of as the kids got older because without the kids riding and showing, we just did not take the time for it anymore.
What do you show? What did you show?
We did, all right, Kat, I myself showed English when I was younger and did hunter jumper and under and over equitation, hunt seat, cross-country hunter jumper, equitation on the flat, over fences, and then the kids, my daughter was especially into, she also did English and hunter jumper, but she loved speed classes, so she loved barrels and poles and the fun classes and rider pickup and all the kind of, different little stuff that they do at the 4-H shows, and just the Western pleasure and English pleasure and things of that nature.
That's cool.
Wow, so I'll say a lot of stuff that I've actually not participated in everything, but some of it I have, and then the other parts I've actually gone to events and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. You see all the cute little rich kids that, have their parents standing there doing everything for them, or even potentially a groom that brings them their saddled and readied horse. We did not allow our children to do that. They had to do it all from the ground up. And with the horses, if they were not fed, groomed, cared for, watered, everything done, and you came into the house to have supper and that horse was not groomed and pampered and fluffed and taken care of and you wanted to come in and eat, you got sent right back out the door until that horse was cared for. And it did not matter what time of day or night it was. You take care of your animals before you take care of yourself. They can't come in the house and make themselves a sandwich when they're hungry, so you get their needs taken care of before your own. The nice thing of having I don't want to say graduated, but having kind of put that behind us is that no matter what the weather, you were out there breaking ice on troughs and, snow, sleet, hurricanes, floods. It didn't matter. You were out there in it. The wonderful thing about having the reptiles, you don't have to do that.
Oh, yeah, they're all in the house. Huh?
Yeah, getting lazy in my old age. There's no having to do the, trailer loads of hay and all that kind of stuff. But we do miss it, and I do miss having the horses and being able to just walk out there and mess with them, but I do not miss the miserable hours of work, because when you would come home from a show, it's, you know, late at night and everybody's cranky and tired, and you still have all the unloading to do and the grooming and the feeding, and it's just, woo. I'm glad those days are past, honestly.
Yeah, really.
No, I've shoveled a few stalls in my time.
I think anybody that's really, anybody that's been involved in any aspects of the animal world has at some point in time messed with horses and or still does. I know that there are several people that breed and raise geckos that still have like a token horse or two out in the back pasture, you know, that they rode when they were younger before they got. Seems like the geckos kind of take over everything once you really start getting into them.
Yeah.
They really do.
Yeah.
They can do that. I spend hours in the gecko room every day, and then, well, you know, I'm online and rushing home from work to pack stuff up to ship them out, and then go ship them out and go back to work, and yeah, it's fun.
It's so much more enjoyable though, because there's not we don't have the high pressure of we've given a lot of geckos away and we haven't ever really sold any. And there's a lot of trading and swapping that goes on among friends and stuff. But without that high pressure of being a so-called breeder, that you have orders going out all the time and things like that, it's a lot more relaxing. You don't have that whole business aspect going on.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about the bottom line except, you know.
Yeah, there you go.
Making sure you got feeder costs covered.
Exactly.
You know,
if there's buckets of mealworms, we're golden. That's all it really takes around here is just, you know, making sure that the feeders shipments get in and we're good to go after that. But I definitely love, and I've seen that a lot of reptile people are like this, just have wonky circadian rhythm. They're not necessarily day people, they're not necessarily night people, they're just kind of all over the map with their clockwork for sleeping. So it seems to be like a lot of night owl reptile people. So we're all up like, you know, feeding animals late at night and messing around and chit-chatting about what our geckos just did and random things like that.
Yeah, like crazy cat people, but with geckos.
Yes, exactly. Do you ever go into your gecko room and all of a sudden you realize 4 hours have passed and you didn't even know it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a time machine, man.
It is.
Audrey's always saying, stop him, he's going to go in the gecko room. Quick, stop him.
It's so creepy, but I try to wear my Bluetooth with me for the most part to the cell phone, because that is tuned in to all the groups that I admin. So if I hear it start pinging like crazy, I know that a fight has broken out in one of the groups. So even though I'm in there, I'm still kind of sort of tuned into the world because I have that Bluetooth in my ear and can monitor what's going on the computer. So I probably run from the geckos to the computer approximately 7,200,000 billion times a day. But, yeah, I get in there and I get totally lost. It's so strange.
I'll be cleaning, and then one of them will climb up on me, or it's something new I'm noticing. One of the babies that's coloring up, growing out, and I don't even know how long I stare at them. It's scary.
Have you ever noticed at nighttime when you're in there feeding, and I don't know if it has to do with the time of day, well, technically the time of night, and I know that people will say leopard geckos do not fire up. I'm not going to use any Yvonne words, but yes, they do. Because at nighttime, I have noticed even like our sun glows, and Marcia's sun glows are pretty much slap you in the face any time of day, but I've noticed in the evenings, it is like they have a Christmas bulb up their hind end. They glow.
Yeah. No, I know they do. I mean, take blizzards for a perfect example. I mean, sometimes you look at them and they're just kind of, I don't know, grayish dark, and then you look in the tub a few minutes later and they're bright, really bright white. So, tangerines, same way. After a female tangerine lays, she's kind of dull looking, and then you look in there a couple of days later, and her color comes back, and so it looks like they're happy again.
Yeah, and they'll get kind of, like I have a blazing blizzard male, and he'll look like a silvery kind of color, and then he'll look white, and I have one tangerine female that she will get a color of like dirty dishwater. She's just like, ugh, bugs, what did you do? And it just kind of depends on, I guess, their mood and the humidity and the temperature and whatever, but they really do. Even a base color like a super hypo tangerine, I've had people send me PMs and go, oh, is my gecko sick? And I just kind of laugh and ask them, what are the temps? Have your temps changed in your house? Or, check your heating and see what's going on with your heating, because I've noticed that they'll get a little gray.
Yeah, diet has something to do with it too.
Now that I did not know.
Diet, if you change the supplements.
We stick with Vionate pretty much all the time, but the feeder roaches always get a lot of different stuff, so I could definitely see it, whatever the roaches have had, like carrots or spaghetti squash or acorn squash or something like that.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, if I ever look in there and they've turned green, if the geckos have turned green from the roaches eating kale, we're going to have an issue. Oh, look, they've all turned into anoles. Oh, that was what I forgot. We also raise Cuban night anoles.
Oh, you've got those too?
Yes.
Those are the big ones, aren't they?
We have pixie frogs and dumpy frogs, and I mean, you never know what you're going to run into in this house.
Lord.
Apparently.
You come around a corner and
Yvonne's house of reptiles and stuff.
I know.
I'd love to see that. Birds and reptiles, and dang, I knew you kept a lot of stuff, but I had no idea.
Yeah, we keep a lot of stuff, and I always tell my husband, he does all the inventory and keeps the books, keeps the breeding records and everything, and he does all the inventory for food and supplies and gecko pudding when it needs to be ordered, or new tubs of Vionate or whatever. And he'll every now and then he will sit and do a head count, and I will stick my fingers in my ears and go, la, 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 la. Yvonne doesn't want to hear. Yeah, you really don't, because when you're working in your racks and working in your exoterras, you're not thinking of everybody else around you. You're just looking at those 3 white line geckos or those 3 boivini or whatever it is that you're looking at the moment. I think if I ever took a step back and looked at it as a whole, I would probably be in the hospital.
Yeah, no, that's one thing I like about them is I can focus on them. Focus has always been kind of an issue, and I mean I can go in there and just focus on one thing and not get distracted too easy.
Mhm.
It gives me some kind of control over focus. ADD is a fun thing to have.
When you have a large variety when you have a large variety like this, though, ADD almost works in your favor, because you go, oh, gecko, gecko, gecko. Oh, wait, chameleon. Oh, wait, parrot. You just kind of flit around, and as you're flitting around and having fun, you're also doing your chores. So I think that with that type of variety, and everybody goes, oh, my gosh, how do you do it all? I don't really think of how do you do it all, because literally, to me, all I'm doing is playing with and kissing on and loving on animals all day.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't seem like work, and we're always very cautious. One of the things that we have, I don't know how this happens, But we get a lot of younger people that will write me and say, what do you think about, me doing this, me doing that? That whatever you want to do is fine, but just always make sure you never exceed your carrying capacity, because when they're first getting into it, they don't stop and realize I may be stuck with 52 geckos that I can't move for a very long time. So when we get ready to breed for the next succeeding season, we always stop and go, okay, how many have we not given away yet? Or, how many are we holding back? Because for every batch that we keep, that takes away from who gets to get loved on and kissed on. And I never want to be in a situation where I have to cut one animal's time because there's more animals than I can love on in one day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't want to be overwhelmed by what you have.
Exactly.
And it's too much like work.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is that if I start getting up in the mornings and going, oh my Lord, then I don't want to do it anymore. When I still get up and go, oh my gosh, I want to see if so and so finished shedding and blah 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 blah. And when I don't wake up with that attitude anymore, then I've overwhelmed myself. My husband is always super cautious about it too. And sometimes I'll say, oh, I want to get one of these. And he'll do now what are you going to do with it, and where are you going to put it, and it's going to need this and that. Are you going to be able to take care of it? Because like right now we've got several babies that I know most people are aware of the fact that we hand-raise the Halmaheras so that they are not as most people associate Halmas with being very skittish and flighty and nervous animals. Well, we hand-raise ours from the time that they hatch, so that they are hand-raised, hand-tame. You can reach right into the cage and pick them up.
Hand-fed and everything, huh?
Yeah, and right now we are also raising 2 little Tokays and a baby Lychee at the same time. Now, as long as you don't all of a sudden go, oh, my gosh, I need to hand-feed X amount of babies and break it up, across a couple of hours and take this one out and play with it and hand-feed it, it works out okay. But if you start having babies on top of babies hatch, then you go, oh my God.
Yeah, it gets busy.
Yeah, it gets very busy because you cannot rush a baby gecko into eating fast. There is no such thing.
They move on their own time.
And they're always messy. They're just like toddlers because Katie Wydock, a girlfriend of mine that you'll see on Facebook every now and then, we're hand-raising a Halmahera for her. And he's just the absolute most horrible little snot. He jumps in the bowl. He wades through the bowl. He gets a mouthful of pudding and sneezes. And it's just oh my goodness, what have I gotten myself into? So you always have one that's some type of little clown that wants to turn feeding time into an absolute mess fest. They really are.
Huh.
Well, do you guys want to get this party started?
Did Janice show up?
Yes, I have one of our sponsors on the line. Speaking of sponsors,
cool.
let's thank our sponsors. This show is brought to you by our generous sponsors: Luxurious Leopards, Lilith Leo Lovables, the Reptile Report Marketplace, Holly's Homebred Reptiles, Happy Gecko Sticky Situation, Top Notch Leopard Geckos, and Fire and Ice Geckos. And let's bring Janice on. Janice,
hello.
Lilith Leo Lovables, how are you?
Hi. I'm good. The power's kind of going on and off here because you got this weird windstorm, but everything else is good.
Good. Well, let's hope you stay with us. So let's hope you stay with us. The power doesn't go out on you.
Oh, my phone's good. The rest of the house is questionable. But yeah, I'm really excited to be on the show with Yvonne. Finally, hi Yvonne.
Hi.
Yvonne, my son's asking who's on the back room. So say hi to Pickles for me. That's all I need you to do.
Isn't she ridiculous? Her and Karma actually have like a fan club, and I've had children that I don't even know write me, and it winds up in my other folder, and it'll be like a little 9-year-old kid that's like, I saw your video of your pet lizard, the green one, and I just wanted you to tell it that I said hi. And I'm like, I don't even know who there's somebody writing the gecko that I don't even know. I love it. It's so cute. And it's like, I don't even know who this is, but they're writing Pickle to tell Pickle hi. Say, okay then.
Well, you know, she's
cool.
a very well-loved Pickle.
She is. She's a mess.
She needs a Santa suit. Christmas is around the corner. You'll get all kinds of Dear Santa letters and stuff. That'd be cool.
Oh, Lord. Dear Pickle.
Dear Santa Pickle. I could see you dressing her up.
Can you please
right now.
bring some butterworms for my babies this year?
Yeah, there you go. We want butterworms.
So who else is on the line besides, I mean, you guys? Is there anybody else hanging out, or?
Me, Jeff.
Is there? Okay. And I mean, is there a topic tonight?
Jeff
or
and
anything?
no, it's the co-host. Jeff, the co-host, with his co-host Chicken Bird.
Chicken Bird.
When I listen to the show, I actually wait and listen for Chicken Bird every time. I'm like, I know I'm going to hear him. I go, oh, there he is. But now we have an African gray that we took in several months ago, and now he does Chicken Bird because he listens on the speakers when I listen to Late Night Leos each weekend. So now he will do that Chicken Bird sound, and I go, oh my gosh, he's a bleeping cockatiel now.
She kind of does La Cucaracha once in a while, but I should get her to say that, like when I'm on air. Then your African Gray will sing about cockroaches.
Well, you know, we got him whistling the cockroach song, but then he jumbles it up with like the Andy Griffith song, and then you know, all kinds of weird stuff. It's
telephone
kind of
rings.
Funny.
Does he do telephone rings?
Yeah, he does the telephone ring. He does the microwave. And then last night, or was it the night before? Who cares? He was sitting, and just out of the blue, dead quiet, he yelled, "Black!" And I looked up over the top of my computer and looked at my husband like, okay, that was random. So he's gradually picking up some words from around here. It's kind of interesting.
They're like, the second most intelligent bird is the African Gray, and then the first is like the raven or the crow or something.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. I was surprised that ravens actually can mimic speech. Like, I didn't know that until this year, and I'm kind of surprised at myself that I didn't know that until this year. But they can. Have you guys seen some of those videos going around where ravens are actually talking?
Yeah.
When I was a vet tech, I also did wildlife rehab, and we would take in crows and raise them, nestlings, fledglings, whatever it was that needed help. We would take them in and raise them. And they would actually learn words while they were growing up until they were fully fledged and went into the outdoor cages. And they would mimic words while they were, you know, being hand-raised in the house, taken care of. You would hear them, and it's kind of a croaky kind of voice, but you would hear them say one of the children's name every now and then. And it was kind of like their creepy, spooky voice, and it's like, ooh, the crow just talked.
Exorcist voice, huh?
Yeah, it's like really creepy. One night, one of them was sitting, we had tea stands that we would put them on for them to be able to start getting their wings built up and get their chest muscles built up as little babies before they could go out in the fledge cages. And one of them was sitting there watching my ex-husband play on his computer game, and he goes, "Gary." I was like, oh, no more. It was so creepy. It's like, oh, okay, that's it. We're burning down the house with the crow in it. Screw it.
Well, the first time I saw it was that Nevermore video, and what cracks me up is you can hear the crow saying, or the raven. It's a raven in that one. It says, "Stay Nevermore." He's mimicking the word "stay" before he says "nevermore." Really funny.
Edit.
Right.
copying the teacher.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
No,
I loved working with the wild animals, but there was always some type of, just like with the crows, the baby crows would, try to copy words, and we rehabbed a lot of white-tail fawns, and we would put them in a swimming pool, one of the hard plastic swimming pools, underneath the dining room table, and they felt like, that would be not their natural habitat, but sort of what they would lay, like, under a bush or something out in the woods. But in the morning you would wake up and you'd have a fawn in the bed with you. It's like, wait a minute. I'm pretty sure this is not how nature intended this to go. A lot of fun, though. But, yeah, those crows are creepy.
Yeah, I have some that come visit me from time to time, and I buy the big bags of the raw peanuts at the pet store, and I throw them up on the roof. And if they see me out there, they'll come stand on my roof and tell me all about how I haven't fed them in a while.
Oh, that's so cool.
No,
yeah, I talk to them all the time. Like, there's a couple of them around here. They're like, okay, where's our Nutri-Grain? I know you have one. You're heading to the car.
Yeah, they're smart animals. And then we get the what are those other ones? Stellar jays, the blue jays.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those come and try to scare the crows off, and they fight back and forth over who's going to get peanuts. So I throw them all over the place. They get
We've had a chickadee infestation here.
A what?
There's like a chickadee infestation. They're all outside and they go, chickadee, feed me, chickadee. Why is your feeder empty? And I have this feeder on my patio, and and I just ran out, so they're like all just kind of going, fine, whatever.
Do they ever come and knock on your window? Hello, lady, the bowl is empty. We have a problem.
Right.
Call you on your cell phone.
I did. There you go. This is Chickadee texting me. Hey, lady, fill the bowl. And they're on the kitchen window tapping out Morse code. Fill the bowl.
Please.
I get the quail, too. I get the cracked corn for the quail. And they have, like, the babies are so cool, like little cotton balls with toothpicks running around all over the place.
Aww.
Yeah, so I go out there and I throw cracked corn out outside our fence so that the cats are lazy. They're not going to chase them.
Yeah. Our cats would be like, look, food, who cares? It's not in a bowl. Obviously, it's not meant for us to eat it.
Yeah,
oh, my Lord.
They pretty much, the two that go outside are pretty lazy. They just sit in the driveway all day and wait for a leaf to fall close to them so they can bat at it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a fly or something.
So,
yeah, I know that, oops, sorry, Janice. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was going to try to loop the show back around to geckos, kind of. But I was wondering if anybody was working with any newer species that were new to them this year or planning on it next year.
I got a gargoyle.
Those are cute.
Yeah, I've never had one. I've had all kinds of geckos, but it's really cool. I put my hand in the cage and they're in the little, not a cage, but the little terrarium thing I made for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it jumps on me, climbs up my arm. It's just a little baby, but it's really cool. It's really personable.
That's good.
Yeah,
I had a couple guards. Go ahead.
My husband is wanting to get into the I know. What is it? How do you say it? Strophoros what? Strophoros ciliaris.
Ciliaris.
Yeah, okay. Something like that. But he's in love with those. That's on his major wish list. I want to get some cat geckos. I love the cat geckos.
Yes.
Aren't they? They're just, I don't know, there's something about them that's like a sexy gecko.
It is. Have you seen the green-eyed tornado ones?
Yes. Oh, my gosh.
Those are the ones I want the mostest. So, but I promised myself I would not get cat geckos until I had time under my belt with cave geckos. And everything is kind of on hold for me right now. I don't really want to get myself in too deep, kind of like how you're saying with don't get in with more animals than you can snuggle with. So I'm actually trying to scale back some of my Leos to make room for caves and to make room for pictus. I have one pair of pictus, and oh my gosh, they're so cute. And I'm going to be trying to get some more banded geckos this next year. And then I was talking to Rachel Winton about maybe getting my starter cave gecko from her. So really
my crazy cave gecko lady starter kit. Oh my God.
To go along with the sticky gecko stickers. I could get the starter cave gecko kit with some stickers.
Now we know what she's up to. Rachel has a plan. She's like she makes the stickers and then breeds the geckos to go with them. So then when you buy the gecko stickers, you go, oh wait, I need the actual gecko to go with it.
And
or vice
versa. Refrigerator magnets of them too. So every time you go get something to eat, you go, that's the gecko I want. It's subliminal.
Yeah, it's subliminal. There you go.
She's a clever girl.
That's skills right there. I always tell her, got to get that marketing skill. She's got it.
No, she's also one of the sweetest people ever. I mean, in person, she's just the best.
Yeah, I met her at the Reading show. It seems like a real sweet person.
I cannot wait until 10. Oh, I was about to say 10. Okay, I can't even say it now. NARBC next October. There's always a list of people that you want to meet, and I do not want to hurt anybody's feelings by leaving them out. But Rachel and I know I'm probably going to say this wrong, but Sari Dukart.
Oh, Sari Dukart.
Yeah.
I have not met her either, but I want to meet her.
Yeah. You always have like a list of people that you really want to meet, but they're like they're my top ones that are like, I cannot wait to meet them. It's going to be so fun.
Yeah.
It would be really fun.
Shows are fun.
Oh, okay. No, I seriously have interruptitis of the worst kind. You guys feel free to just tell me to shut up. And you don't have the talking stick, Denise for such. But I think it would be fun at some point in time to have like a get-together, like a gecko gathering that's not for a show, like, I don't know, like a weekend camp out or something, somewhere in... Cool. Like either like northern in Colorado or Northern California or
Northern California.
Where it's really pretty and fun to go camping, and just have everybody get together and hang out for a weekend and
like a gecko family reunion, literally.
Yeah.
That would be a blast.
It really would. And it's a lot of people have a lot to say bad about Facebook, about the gecko groups and the ball python groups, and everybody sits there and fights. But that may be, but even in the most wonderful families, you are going to have sources of contention. And that's just the way it goes. But even though a lot of people say, the gecko group's on Facebook, I actually think that it's my opinion, and I always try to see the bright side of everything, but I think it's brought a lot of people really close together, made a lot of friends that they would have not made in other ways, that if you had only met them at a show or something like that you really get to develop these rapport and, get the group dynamics going, and everybody gets to know each other. So even though a lot of people say a lot of bad stuff about the Facebook groups, I think actually that it helps people develop a lot of really good friendships also, because I have met so many incredible gecko people that I would have never known of otherwise. Aside from Facebook, outside of Facebook, I would have never met them. I live under a rock. I don't socialize.
That's how I am too. People around here, I don't know, customers I work for, and a few people I talk to, but I mean, kind of a lone wolf.
Yeah,
basically. People get you in trouble, man.
I found that most of my people
thing.
on Facebook. Mm-hmm.
No, I was talking about your family get-together. That would be a really good idea. Honestly, it would. I know a lot of people would get like, what? You don't want to get together. It's like, hell yeah, I want to get together. Let's do this.
Great.
Well, like you guys, I don't really have a social life, but I will take any excuse for road trip and camping that I can get.
Oh, yeah. I love the
see
outdoors.
Everybody out there herping in the middle of the night with black lights looking for spiders and scorpions and stuff.
That would be so much fun, though. Just for fun.
We do that when we go to Tucson. We go out night herping with the black lights and go poking around looking for different things.
Oh, yeah, scorpions and stuff. Out the Tucson, Arizona's a real neat place to go herping. They got all kinds of stuff.
It is.
Around here, yeah, there's a lot of stuff around here, too. But I see it all the time, so it's not as exciting.
Not as exotic.
Yeah, it doesn't seem exotic.
They're not exotic enough exotics.
The one that Jeff talks about that I literally get a really good mental, perfect visual on is when Jeff talks about going through, I think he terms it Buzztail Canyon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, I would love to do that.
It's exhilarating. Your heart beats. Because certain time of year they're everywhere. Oh, I'm in Magalia. It's close by here. I can't disclose the exact area because it's a
right.
It's a rattlesnake den, and the whole canyon is it's certain times of the year you go through it, and it just the rattling is everywhere. You don't.
It would be so fun.
It's eerie because you don't see them, but you hear them. And a lot of times they'll be crossing the path, and you just kind of let them go.
Mm-hmm.
Just let them do their thing and walk around. But it's every 10, 20 feet you'll hear them going off, and it kind of, I don't know, sort of echoes. It's like there's a little creek that goes through there sometimes. But yeah.
I've heard Texas is another good, really good herping road trip sort of place.
Oh yeah, they got all kinds of species in Texas.
Yeah, they have a little everything there. Literally.
Yeah. I want to chase some armadillos around for some reason. I think those are just the coolest looking animals. They're like possums and got together with turtles or something. But I hear people, like a friend of mine, the truck driver, he goes all over the place, and he says he hits those all the time. Yeah, it's sad, but he says, I hate those things, always all over the road.
Poor guys.
We grew up with them down in Louisiana, Mississippi area. They can really do some major damage to your vehicle. And one of the, this was back when I was younger, this kind of took a weird turn, but one of the coaches of a local college or high school hit an armadillo going down I-90 or I-10, I can't remember what it was, and totaled his truck and got killed hitting an armadillo.
Yeah.
So they're kind of cool, but you hit them just right, and you can be in a world of hurt, too. We used to chase them on horseback. They can run really fast, and when we were kids, we would get on the horses and chase them across the cow pastures.
And they dig real quick too, don't they? Burrow really fast. Yeah.
They're super fast.
I've never seen them in the wild, just on nature shows, and then I've seen them at different zoos or whatever. But
it's like they can be standing there, and then 3 shoves of dirt, and they're just gone underneath the surface of the ground. It's like it just vanished. Poof. Okay, magic armadillo.
You guys are making them sound like they're armored prairie dog Sperry's or something.
They are. Really cool. Very interesting too. But they're scavengers also, and when you're riding through the cow pastures, everybody has places that they'll pile up there. This is very gross, but where cows that have passed away, their resting area, and you'll be riding past that heap of cows, and an armadillo will pop out of a carcass, and it will it'll put your horse 20 feet in the air. I mean, just because it scares the crap out of the horse, you know.
They okay. Yeah.
Yep. Magic
people
armadillo popping out of a cow.
People eat those things?
Yes, they eat them.
That's
very common
too. I've never seen something on that. It's like, man, they're eating dead cows and stuff.
And armadillos are also one of the only animals that we have that are indigenous to the United States that carry leprosy.
Oh, really?
How we got?
That's right. I've heard that.
And how we got from geckos to leprosy, I have no idea.
We were talking about Texas, and that led to armadillos, and then that led to
the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
I like bacon.
All right, Janice, you take and steer us back to geckos again, because we went completely off course.
Off subject, yeah. No. Well, this is, the ADD leading the ADD. It's fabulous. But,
embrace it.
We can just have this lovely tangential conversation all night. But
you don't suffer from it. Just embrace it and enjoy it.
Exactly. I don't suffer from insanity. I enjoy every minute of it.
There it is, right there.
Parade it around on the porch and give it iced tea. Show all the neighbors.
With lemon. Must have lemon.
With lemon.
Yes.
That's funny.
So, let's see, geckos. It's funny because I'm in like this northwestern gecko group, and it's like ractodactylid group, and I'm like, can we get a little bit more like terrestrial representation in here? And it's really hard because I'm trying to kind of expand my scope beyond just eublethrids, but I'm still kind of a loyal terrestrial gecko kind of person. Like, I like the little earth dwellers. They're just so cute. And so I actually saw something that was really crazy the other day that I had never seen before, and I forgot who posted it, but it was a type of leaf-tailed gecko that's not related to the New Caledonian geckos, and it's like a what is it called? Convergent evolution, and they're from Australia, and they're huge, and they have these long, spindly legs and this big, wide, flat tail. They're a leaf-tailed gecko, but they're not related to the New Caledonian ones. They're like their own line that, just came of its own volition in Australia, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen that. That's amazing. And I'm going to have to look them up again and post it again because they're enormous and they're brilliant and they're amazing. Like, they're not related to the Europlatus or any of those other species, but I'm just, that's the thing about geckos is I am continually amazed by how diverse the entire group is. I mean, and you got to think they've been evolving since the Jurassic. Of course they're going to be diverse. They're everywhere except for Antarctica practically. So.
Yeah.
No bite. And you think that there are still, we live in these little pockets of, human societies. We have our electricity and our little subdivisions, and we don't think outside of the box. But you think that if you really get outside of your own brain and get on a much larger scope, there are areas on this planet that nobody has ever set foot on yet, like in the Amazon basin and, places that no one has even discovered, that there are things there that we have no idea that even exist yet. And my mind, oh my gosh, there's so much out there that we haven't even seen. So exciting. Okay, I'll be calm. I'll start jumping around the den.
Be excited. There's so much to be excited about. I mean,
there really is. There's so much.
Oh, there's places around here that are just, the forest is just so thick and covered with berry bushes, and I I drive up Skyway here to the top where they call it the High Lakes, and I go out there and I overlook all this forest, and all those thoughts go through my head. I think there could be a Bigfoot out there.
Why not? I mean, honestly. There's stuff out there that we do not know. Why couldn't there be a Bigfoot? And people are like, oh, my God, you're an idiot. And I'm like, okay, well, at least I'm a happy idiot.
Honestly, if and I'm going out on wackadoodle limb right about now, but if there was a Bigfoot, if you look back at the human evolutionary history, there has always been at least 2 to 3 hominid species within the same kind of time frame. And if there was a Bigfoot, and if it is another hominin species like humans or Neanderthals or whatever, they've probably seen us wipe out everybody else, and they're going, nope, not coming out, never.
Oh. It's like that meme.
I really think we did. I think we wiped out just about every other species of human creature except for ourselves. I mean, the Neanderthals were like the last stand. It's really sad.
That meme that you see on Facebook that has the aliens that go, this is why we don't come visit you.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, my gosh. Well, when you stop and look, and I know that this is way the heck off the get-go topic, but when you stop and look at how everything gets along with everything else, and it is not detrimental to one another, it all seeks a balance. It eventually balances out. When you look at what humans do to the earth, we are a blight. We are like the worst virus that ever happened to anything.
Look,
we have our butt whooping coming. We have our butt whooping coming. We really do. And the thing that frustrates me about that, well, I'm going to be an old lady when it really starts hitting the fan. So
I know. I tell my husband all the time, I'm glad we're getting old because I don't want to see karma when it comes for the human race. I don't want to see karma come full circle. I want to be dead.
I'll be here and my kids will be here. So I mean, I have these crazy dreams of like, no, really, I want to farm. I want to farm really bad so I can have greenhouses and store seeds and like have lots of different animals and lots of books because I figure people are going to need that kind of thing. But people just go, yeah, Denise, you're crazy. I'm going, but wait 40 years. It won't seem so crazy then.
Oh yeah, it's the wheel of history just keeps turning around. I mean. It's, look at the fall of Rome.
We're like the second incarnation of Rome is what the problem is.
Yeah.
I mean, the more exotic the thing that we can import into our empire and have as a rare delicacy or gem or whatever, whether it's a food or a creature or a plant or whatever, the more excited we get about it. And that just puts a strain on the whole system, really. But which is why I kind of get my panties in a bunch about, like, the CITES treaty. Yeah, it's not a bad thing. It is not a bad thing that we can't poach every interesting little reptile to death or every little cute fuzzy marmoset. Like, the exotic pet trade is an interesting thing because, like, on one hand, it opens your world up to all these fabulous creatures that are just absolutely amazing. And then you have people that flip and do Craigslist and overbreed and dump critters, and it's like really kind of like the whole human thing all in a nutshell kind of when you look at what our industry does. I mean, there's people who do care and then there's people who don't, and it's kind of hard to discern sometimes because some people start out one way and then money comes in and then they go, oh, money. And for me, I would rather be, some little no-name hobbyist that really loves my geckos, even if I end up keeping every single one I ever breed.
I'm not going to afford them all, but I'd rather keep them and know that they're taken care of.
Yeah,
right.
It's never been about the money because if it was, I would have hung it up.
It's like when you breed dogs or when you breed horses. If you do it right, you're probably never going to get all of your money back. If you do it right and you're putting the care into them, then you're going to put more into it than you ever get out of it financially, but you're going to get more out of it on a personal satisfaction, emotional
reward, your personal, your soul reward, your heart.
Yeah,
your love and your spirit.
That's worth more than any monetary gain at all if you're
really
at peace with yourself.
And I don't know how you guys are, but when I get in there and I get to fooling around and picking up these little guys and talking to them, and I'm like, oh, who's your pretty little gecko, mommy loves you. And I really do kiss and hug on my geckos. And I've had people say that, do you actually kiss them? And I'm like, of course I actually kiss them. But
they give you those kisses back.
Well, that feeling that you get, and I'm sure that y'all know what I'm talking about, but that feeling that you get in, like, your chest and your heart, and you're just like, oh, my God, I think my brain is going to explode. I love you so much. You know what
I call that feeling squish. That's squishy. That's something that's squishable.
Like, you know, you're just going to explode. Ugh, yeah, I love them so much.
I talk to them and love them. I don't kiss them or anything like that. I hold them. And
Jeff, you know you were over there kissing them geckos.
Ron, he thinks we're weird because we kiss our geckos.
He can't kiss his because of his mustache. It tickles him, and then they sneeze, so they're like allergic to him. It's like, here, little gecko, let me kiss you, and then the gecko is like, achoo, achoo. Oh, sorry.
It's a guy thing. If I did, I couldn't let anybody see.
Yeah. If I tell you that I kiss my geckos, I will then have to kill you. Manly man club. Oh my God.
It's in the contract.
One of the things that Janice was talking about with the Craigslist and everything, that is a good segue for me because I wanted to bring up and say congratulations to Lauren O'Brien of the Gecko Sanctuary up in Holbrook, Massachusetts, that she has succeeded in after all the time and paperwork and inspections and everything that you have to get done to become a 501c3.
I've seen that, yeah.
She actually got her approval, and one of the things that I like to bring up when I'm thinking about it and my brain slows down enough is that with us as breeders, we may not be able to donate to the rescues, but at least with like their fundraisers and things that they're doing, at least share the stuff that they are doing.
Right.
Like Lauren had a T-shirt sale a while back trying to raise money for the sanctuary, and just even if you can't buy something, at least just share it on your use guys. I'm from New York now. Y'all share it on y'all's walls and stuff like that, because I see, and this is probably me nagging, but I'll see people like it, but not many people share it. And it's like, if you can take a second to click like, you can take a second to click share and help support some of these, rescues and things like this. But I definitely want to tell Lauren and the Gecko Sanctuary, congratulations. She does awesome work.
Post that on the Gecko blog for us? Would you
Absolutely.
kindly? Because that way I can share it from there.
Yeah, she's awesome. And I always try to, I know that, some breeders take in the random gecko here and there to help out, that they're like, oh, I saw this sick gecko, I took it in. But, we're out there putting a lot of geckos out there, and people like Lauren are coming behind us, and I won't say cleaning up our messes, but at least coming behind us and cleaning up some of the mess that you see these Craigslist geckos, and it's like, oh, my God.
We had some of those come in today, and yesterday there was a situation up here where it was so frustrating, and one of my friends went to go pick them up because she just couldn't stand the Craigslist post, and she ended up, going, I'm in over my head, I can't deal with this, so they got taken in by a friend of mine, and they took them to the vet, and one of them was just not salvageable. It had multiple fractures because the MBD was so bad, and it was a crusty. I know, it was horrible. Like, we're all kind of going, hugs, sniffles, tears, Kleenex, here's a Kleenex online. You can't really hand somebody a Kleenex, but the other one is still very young, and it just appears to have been very, very underfed, and they think that one's going to be okay if they can get it to eat. I know, and it was like, oh my gosh, it didn't look as bad as it actually was when she got there. It was really sad. So, I mean, I do keep my eye out for it. We've got the Pacific Northwest Herp Society up here that they do fosters, and I mean, I don't usually take in fosters unless they kind of look healthy to begin with. They do have my collection to worry about, but I will transport. Like, if I can transport a rescue or go pick up something that's not wanted and bring it to somebody else. Like, that's a way you can contribute, is if there's a local society or a local rescue or a local haven or sanctuary, you can offer your time and your gas and be like, I can't really take anybody in, but I can help take them to the vet. I can drop them off to their new home. I can take them out to go meet potential adopters. That's something you can do.
Mhm. And
here,
just
let's
even
bring
when
another caller on the line real quick. Let's welcome another one of our sponsors. It'd be Rachel from Happy Gecko Sticky Situation.
My ears were burning, so I decided to call in.
Honey, we're on the radio. Orion is trying really hard to say hi.
Hi, guys.
Well, hello.
So I'm just going to say I'm pretty nervous about calling in. My ears are super hot and red, and so I'm kind of...
It's just a bunch of drinks talking is all it is.
just start coughing.
It's just us. No worries.
Yeah, that's the
Yvonne,
big thing.
I had
literally friends. Okay, what did I do? Everybody went quiet all of a sudden.
We're all listening to you talk.
Oh, God.
I was just going to say, I had no idea that you had so many animals. Like, you started listing off all the species that you care for, and I'm just used to, like, seeing, like, Pickle and the little Karma, little girl Karma. I love her. And hearing about all the other ones that you've got, I'm just surprised, I guess.
It's a huge collection, and we have had some robberies in our, I don't want to say area, but our region, where people have gotten on Facebook and like posted some of their rare snakes and some of their top quality animals, and then go off, and then lo and behold, their house has been broken into and animals have been stolen. So we don't go around, waving flags saying, look at everything we have, and kind of keep it, I don't want to say low profile, but we definitely do not, go around saying, oh, my God, look at everything we have,
You don't advertise on Craigslist.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things that I've cautioned some other people about is that everybody does you should do a video of, and it's like, no, do not do a video of anything, because this is one of the things that people can look at on your Facebook, and there are people looking at your Facebook that you do not know are looking at your Facebook that can use that
totally
video.
Public.
And they can use that video as a way to figure out, okay, where was that door, where was that window, have you ever seen them that they keep their dogs locked up, or, do they take their dogs with them, where are the dogs at, things like this, and it's like, absolutely not, I'm not advertising any damn thing.
Yeah, but, and I never really thought of it that way, but there are a lot of people that I know, because I know a lot of gecko folks. I'm very, very big into the geckos, as some of you may know. But they've got some pretty rare things, and they don't even tell people what they have.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes they'll share a picture with you in a PM or whatever, and that's pretty cool to see what they've got. But other than that,
that's about it.
But, yeah, I've never even thought of that though. Like, I try.
And there's a lot of stuff that people do on Facebook that kind of surprise me, because they're like, oh, we're going to this 3 and 4 day show, and I'm like, you need to shut up. Do not tell people that you are going out of your house and leaving your collection, unsupervised for 4 days while you go to this show. And I stay baffled about it, because, and I understand wanting to show off and be like, oh, look at this really cool that I have, and it's only worth $7,000. And then, by the way, I'm going to a 3 day show, and then you come home from the show, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, who came and took all my animals?
Yeah, honestly,
you have no
never
idea,
even
because
occurred to me. Because my nature is kind of stupid and trusting.
No, I wouldn't say that's stupid.
No, it's stupid. It's very stupid. But I mean, I like to believe that people are not that messed up, but I'm constantly surprised there. And you're right, Yvonne. That is something that is worth mentioning as a cautionary tale. You're right.
It really is, because they go and they walk through their whole collection, and they're like, oh, and here is my $10 million orange Spacadactylus pterodactylus giraffe,
Sweet.
Pterodactylus giraffe. That's awesome.
Don't show people that. I mean, you might mention it here and there, but don't go walking around through your house showing them exactly which row of racks it's in. Like, okay, we're just going to go straight through this bedroom window, down the hall, and then the third rack to the left on the right turn, and just grab what's in that bin and take off. Yeah, and it's like, no.
Well, I guess in that case, I'm really glad my house is totally cluttered, because I never show my house in my videos. It's so horrible. That's in favor for me now.
Yeah, well, it's just dangerous, because one of the women up here that's I think she was in West Virginia, or is she in Virginia? But she had done a video of her snakes that were adjacent to her home in another house that was in the next lot over. And she had done a video showing somebody some of the ball pythons, and not 3 days later, while they were asleep, somebody broke into the house next door where they kept all their animals and stole the 3 or 5 most expensive ball pythons that she had just put on that video.
Oh, no.
And, left all the regular stuff. And it's like, well, you know what? They knew exactly where to go and exactly where to look, or at least had a rough idea,
Probably had them sold before they even bagged them up.
Honestly.
That's messed up.
It's a scary thought. And now everybody's going to be freaking out and never saying anything on Facebook. But that's not what I mean. I mean, just use, everybody will be like, we're never going to another show again. That's not what I mean. Just use a little caution, though, and don't show videos of everything, and don't announce, every single. I don't think anybody's going to break into my house to steal a damn basilisk. I don't have anything that's rare or super expensive.
Right.
But there's a lot of people out there that do have some collections that are just way up there. And it's like, don't make videos of your entire facility.
Right. Very, very few people have my address in the Gecko community. I think there's maybe 5 people, other than people I've bought from. I don't have people just cruise by and, hey, let's go see your Gecko.
Yeah, that's another thing.
I don't have anything rare or valuable either. I mean, I have some nice leopard geckos, but they're leopard geckos,
It ain't worth dying over.
Right.
Exactly.
No, there's one way in and one way out where I'm at, so and all our neighbors know us, and they're homeowners, and they're avid hunters. So we look out for each other.
Avid hunters. And they're avid hunters, I might mention on this show that people are listening to.
I'm not too worried about it.
They have excellent marksmanship skills, and we rely on them.
We had the house next door to us. They had been foreclosed on or got a divorce or whatever their situation was, and then it had been empty for several years, and then we recently had new neighbors move into it and put in a privacy fence. They have these 2 huge pit bulls. They also have a dog door. So the pit bulls run in and out all night long barking. And I said, at first I was like, oh my gosh, this is the most annoying thing in the universe. But now that I think about it, it's like, you know what? That's 24-hour-a-day security, because nobody can walk into our backyard without those pit bulls seeing or hearing them.
Oh, yeah. People around here have neighbors across the way, and they're pretty spread out here, but the neighbors across the way have bloodhounds, like 9 of them or something. I don't know the max you can have. And then, everybody around here has a dog. So
everybody has dogs. So you even sneeze in the middle of the night, or if I just even if the bird yells in the middle of the night, everybody's dogs go off. It's like, oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Security built a dog security force.
Deer walks down the street, and it happens all the time. The dogs go nuts. We get bears.
I think the number one deterrent that anybody could ever have is, even if it's a small dog, I think one of the biggest deterrents that anybody can have is a dog in the house, or in the hell, even some types of cats, because I've seen some people with some cats, and I'm like, are you sure that isn't part mountain lion? Somebody told you a cougar. I think
I'm pretty sure my cat would help whoever.
Cougar. He has a huge cat. Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, I got a great big old black cat. He'd probably just roll over, though. He's mellow. He looks scary.
There are bobcat, house cat hybrids, and lynx house cat. I've seen them.
They're
and
the savannas
They're
and
huge.
Bengals and the savannas and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, no. I mean, just people let their Siamese cat out, and they have enormous Siamese-looking kittens with funny tails. I mean, like.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! I did not even know. Well, yeah. Don't be stupid, Yvonne. Yeah. Okay.
No, there was somebody here. He had this big floofy thing, and I was like, "Is he part Maine Coon or something?" And they're like, "Well, actually, we think it was a bobcat because we saw them outside on the back by the garage." And I'm like, "Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know they could interbreed either." And that was just up here in Washington. They're like, "Yeah, we're pretty sure that his daddy's a bobcat."
Oh my gosh!
Our Maine Coon looked like a raccoon. I swear he was half raccoon.
That's funny. Rachel, you're being quiet. Tell us about your geckos.
I was just going to say she's being too quiet.
Yeah, let's talk geckos.
I'm just listening to you guys going back and forth. I've got about I think 10 species of geckos. I try not to keep track because I'll go insane. But my favorite right now, my favorites change depending on who has the most personality every week. Right now is my little tokay gecko, and I got him from Rami at Nova Geckos, and she hand-teamed him. And I saw him at the table at that Portland show here locally, and I kind of had been playing around with the idea of getting a tokay, but I really wanted one that was either young or already tame, and there he was just sitting there, and I saw him, and Rami's like, okay, you want him, right? I was like, no, I don't want him. But then I did the bad deed of taking it out of the deli cup and holding it on the table. Yeah.
I got to hold
so
it
he came home with me.
That's the first cigarette right there.
He is the mellowest tokay I have ever met.
Oh, I
was
like
terrified.
He's so cute.
That's right. That's what you need. Yeah, no, I was terrified of tokay. They're like, I'm not going to hold it. It's going to bite my face off. No way. And they're like, no, Tommy, just hold the gecko. It's going to be fine. And he just kind of snuggled in with his little belly. Right. And he's like, hi. I'm like, oh, they're not demons and scales. They're kind of cute.
I'm a tokay. I'm so cute. Love me. Yeah, he's pretty cool. I love him. He's quite the character, and he's like, I'm pretty sure he's my smartest gecko that I have. Or possibly, and you know, Yvonne, after you got Pickle, I totally was like, I want a day gecko. So I went out and I got myself a freaking day gecko. And Flick, her name's Flick, she hates me. She hates me so much. God. She, like, every time I'll go to feed her, she'll, like, hide, and then I'll throw the bugs in there, and she'll, like, go to get a bug and hide again as fast as she can. It's so sad. Like, she hates me. And I try to love her, and I try to, like, go up to her, because she's in a planted viv for humidity, and I go up there to like, talk to her or try to get her to come out of her hiding spot, but she doesn't like me at all. I'm a little disappointed. Pickle totally got my hopes up.
Yeah,
cool
we don't know what that whole situation was with Pickle, and for one person, I've had a lot of Pickle moments across my life. So it didn't necessarily surprise me, but I was definitely surprised to find out that they are not pet geckos. And I kind of sit and look at Pickle and go, well, what are you? But when I tell people that I did not pick Pickle, Pickle picked me, and they go, she's nuts. I don't know what the hell's in her Kool-Aid, but stay away from her. But it was just one of those what do you call, I don't know, whatever it was.
Just a moment.
It was a pickle moment. Yeah, it was just a moment.
Picked a peck of pickles.
Yeah, pickle picked her.
She's one of the strangest things, and she chit-chats and just, I don't know what her story is. Okay, please tell me that's not some group in the middle of this show breaking out in a fight. Y'all hear that pinging going on my phone?
Yeah, I hear it.
It's like, no fighting during the show, y'all. Calm down. Everybody calm down
It could be the Bold Bandit discussion.
Oh, my goodness.
The Bold Bandit discussion went a little crazy.
And I did not follow that one, but that was a really interesting, I saw it, and then everything around here gets crazy, but what exactly does, for real, what does make a bandit? Is it only that nose band, or is it just a specific line?
We've come to the conclusion that if it has the bandit nose, that's great, but it does need to be from the original Trimper bandit lineage to call it a bandit. If it's got the nose band, but it's not from that lineage, you really shouldn't call it that. And if you breed a bandit to a bandit and they don't come up with the nose band, then you tell people it's a bandit lineage, but it's not actually a bandit because it doesn't have the nose band.
Then it's just a bold, right?
Right.
That was the last.
Yeah. It's a bold from the bandit lineage, but it's not a bold bandit itself. I mean, that's kind of like when you have a blood cross and, it comes out kind of, it's not really a blood unless it's really a blood. I mean, you could, get something that looks like a blood and has blood, lineage in it, but it's not pure anymore. And the thing that's weird about line bred projects and polygenetic projects like that is like you have to outcross at some point, but then you have to breed it back into that line to keep it that line. So it's tricky.
That's like the term carrot tail. And everybody throws this term around. I'm one of those people that takes words very literally. And uses them very literally. And I used to be able to use the word gay, and then we went through all that stuff, and now I can't even say, oh, I'm so gay today. It's like, whoa, Mom, really? But words like that. So, but you have these words that get thrown around like carrot tail, and I see people say, well, what percentage of carrot tail? And I'm going, it's not a dang carrot tail unless, who was it, Ray Hines?
Yeah, Ray Hines. Mm-hmm. You from Ray Hines lines to be a carrot tail.
Did Ray Hines breed it? No. Then it's not a carrot tail. And it's like, well, everybody uses carrot tail now as a description of a color versus a Ray Hines carrot tail. It's like he got totally forgotten in the whole scenario.
Well, so did
now
most
it's just
of
a color.
Like the Nieves tangs. There's a few people that have Nieves tangs left, but not very many people. They look at you like, what the heck is a Nieves tang? It's getting to the point where people are like, well, who's all these two cool reptiles? I'm like, please don't talk to me. Just
Absolutely. Line breed king. Come on, you got to know who Albie is.
Oh my God. The tangerine pioneered most of the really good tangerines out there besides the Nieves and the Ray Hines tangerines, Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that a lot of the tangerine stuff out there is came from him somewhere down the line. It's...
Well, my tangerines that I have, I got my founding 2 dams from Haley Lau, who was ID Geckos at the time, and she had gotten hers directly from Aldi and was line breeding her own little tangs based off of his in addition to what she had. And so that's where my tangerines are from, but they're not really their own line. They're just kind of like a derivative of all these lines. So I don't call them anything. They're just
they all are derivatives of derivatives.
Exactly.
True. They really are.
And it's good to combine, different lines into like projects, but I mean, that's why I'll try to tell people, well, I know where my lineage came from, but it's its own thing. It's its own project. So I'm really terribly fond of the word project versus morph. So,
exactly.
Or line, because in my opinion, it's not a line until you've been working on it for at least 5 years, preferably 7 to 10, because it takes a really long time. And a lot of people that are coming into the hobby now do not appreciate the foundational line work that was done in the last 15 years. I just don't, because they bought the end result of it.
I love you. Will you marry me? That's one of my biggest things is that you get these. No, I'm serious, you guys. You get.
I want to have your babies.
I know. I get all excited. You get these people, and they're like, oh, and then I bought the parents from so-and-so, and then I bred them, so these are now my line. And I'm one of those people that is a name dropper, and I want to have the power of that name because I have Marsha's geckos, and I have John's geckos, and 5 years from now, when I have grandchildren of the grandchildren of the grandchildren of those geckos, they're not going to be Yvonne's rainwaters. They're still going to be Golden Gate Gecko rainwaters because I want that name. I want that attached to that because somebody's going to go, Yvonne, who cares about Yvonne? Who's that? But when you have those people that worked for, she worked for 18 years now, 19 years now, and put all that work into it, that's in the history books of our geckos. So 5 years from now, when I'm selling a rainwater, I don't have to say, oh, it's a Yvonne rainwater. I can go, honey, this was a Marsha rainwater, back up, girl,
Yeah, I have a group of hers that I'm keeping
gecko that was Marsha's. That's it. I just have one, and I just what frustrates me as a hobbyist is, I'm really silly. I dare to think that me and my one-income household can compete with like the homeowner two-income crowd, and that's just kind of dumb. But it's something I love, so I do it for me. But like, I don't have $1,200 to $2,000 to drop on fancy breeders every year. I have to just selectively breed the heck out of what I've got and be careful with it. So, I mean, I don't have, but I have the one gecko I have, fine, sweetie, that's from Marsha is one of her bold striped bells. And she came to me via Brittany at Pack Herp when she got out. So, but it was funny because I was scamming Marsha, and she's like, I could not get that girl to breed to anybody. And I was like, oh, yeah, she totally loved my Bold Stripe Bell Enigma guy. And I spoke too soon because when I paired her with the Geckos, etc. boy, Bold Stripe Bell, she would not have anything to do with him this year. She was like, I'm going to lay the eggs in the water dish. I'm going to lay them on top of the lay box. I'm going to lay them under the lay box. I'm going to lay them as far away from the heating strip as I could. Like, she had 4 sets of eggs, and not a single one of them was viable because she did not like that boy.
No, I think that's possible. I've seen it in my own stuff.
Yeah.
I told her she can have her old boyfriend back next year. She just promises to be good. But she'll get retired after the next time she gets bred because I think I try not to feed my geckos any more than 4 or 5 times tops, and then they're retired. That's it. And I try to I'll give them a year off. So I do have some 6-7-year-old breeders who are like, this is it. This is your last season. You're done, So
do you go like 2 years and then give them a year off as a basic rule?
No, I do it based on how their season went, really, because there's some girls that they bounce back, and then there's other girls that they're just like, I'm tired. I'm really tired this year, and I give them an extra year off. It depends on how their season went.
Yeah, so, kind of as a basic rule, I'm like, I'll breed them 2 years, and if they look really bad, of course, I won't breed them, sometimes ever again, but I won't breed them for, a couple years. But,
no, I've given 1 or 2 of mine 2 whole years off, and then breed them one last time, and then I consider them done. Like, I have she was one of the first Bell Sunglow Enigmas back from 2006 or 7. Yeah, and she was from Matt Ozvath at, what was the name of his business? Blizzards of Oz. And so she was one of his project animals, and then he just decided to get out of leopard geckos right before it went completely insane. So, and moved on to other species, which was probably really smart. But I still have her, and you know, I could breed her one more season, but I really think she needs to go to like a pet home next year, because she's produced some really pretty little orange bells and het bells for me. So like I think she's done cooking, and she's a very sweet kid. So
yeah, you don't want to burn them out.
No, and they, you know, after they've had so many little baby eggs, it's like, you know, you really deserve to just live in the lap of luxury and have your own leg room and just not have to worry about that anymore. Like I think they deserve retirement. They really do. So
yeah. Now I always have when you're line breeding, that's kind of I don't know. It can set you back, because I know this year I have a couple females that I didn't breed because they bred last year and lost a lot of weight, and I mean they pop back real good, but I give them another year off.
Yeah.
But they put out some of the nicest tangerines I've had, but I just don't want to risk it, you know. So next season I'll breed them.
Right. What I've been doing with my tangerines in particular is I try to keep the dam line going, especially the ones that are really healthy, and then I'll introduce new males every 2 or 3 generations. That's kind of how I do my tangerines, which is like I shouldn't be giving away trade secrets, but that's what I do. If I have a good, strong, vigorous dam line, I bring in new male blood and then bring it back to the girls. But, I mean, other people do it the other way, where they've got, like, fabulous boys that they can bring new girls into. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just my personal preference. So
yeah, you do parallel lines where you have 2 different groups, and you can so you're not constantly breeding mom to or son to mom or what, dad to daughter.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I try not to get any closer than half siblings or, like, an uncle, niece, or aunt, nephew. I try not to get any closer to that. I have bred a great-grandson back to the great-grandmother once, but I figure that's kind of far enough that, you know, I'm just going for the concentration of color. There have been 2 other sires introduced into the line in the meantime. Like, it's not quite as bad. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but...
Yeah, you start getting shorter tails or...
right.
Yeah,
funny
they just,
jaws
I don't
or
know.
eyelids or...
Yeah, I haven't got the eyelids or the jaws or anything like that. I'm real selective.
Well,
on what
I had one come up with a short, like a little flappy thing under the chin, and I'm kind of like, well, that's time to outcross. It really is.
Extra skin, yeah. No, I try to be real selective. I look at the body shape of them. I think they should be more like a knoll. You know how the body shape are, and they're like graceful looking.
Long and lanky, right.
Yeah. Well, other than, I notice a lot of the lines, they look short and stubby. And I don't know.
If you think about it, they've been captive bred so long that we're breeding them for cute. Which we see short, round as cute, you know, so.
Yeah. And, you know, I've seen some bearded dragons that breeders are breeding like that now, the short-snouted bearded dragon. And they make those muzzles very, very short. And it's like, people, you're not breeding pugs.
Right.
They almost look deformed. It's like they don't have any face. It's just like a top skull with some eyeballs and nostrils. It's like, is that a bearded dragon? Did something happen to your bearded dragon? And it's like, no, it's called a short muzzle or something. And I'm like, no, it is not.
That's like the people who are trying to breed the curly-tailed leopard geckos on purpose. Like, that's a deformity. I think we don't pay enough attention to conformation sometimes in pursuit of color, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have conformation standards. We don't have we're not like, well, those withers are too high and that crop is. We don't have that with geckos.
Yeah.
You know, like it's weird.
I definitely like Jeff's geckos have and I don't know what it is that I attribute to them, but when you think of the black and white pinup girls with the long, elegant legs and just very classy looking, just, you know, classic elegance, I think is what I'm going for. When you look at some of the shots that he does of his geckos, they just have that very nice, balanced, everything is, they're just classy
proportionate.
looking.
Right.
Yes, there you go. Like,
those are the ones I share.
Yeah, I've got some variants in my collection too. What's that?
You think you share the pinup geckos?
Yeah. No, I share them all. You see the ones where they're like trying to get away from me?
Yeah. I love those.
Yeah, I get plenty of those ones.
You can almost hear me saying bad words. Hold still. Beep, beep.
That was, yeah, I was going to say, that was a beep, 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 beep moment.
I'm so bad about taking. I've got all kinds of that I've never even took pictures of, and I'm sure a lot of people do, but I'm just so bad. I get people message me, "Hey, show me a picture. You got any of these? Show me a picture." Okay, and then I forget about it. And a few days later, they message me back, or I see them post that they got it from somewhere else, and it's like, oh well.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I haven't been taking pictures of my animals for the last year or so. And it's really sad, really. You know, I go in my herp room and it's like, what can I do in the next 2 hours and then go to bed, because I do the sticker store and that's like my main thing. I stay up till way late every night. But I really want to get more pictures of my cave geckos, because that's what everybody really likes seeing, are my cave geckos, because they're not as common as the other geckos that I keep, and they're my little pride and joy geckos. And
I've been looking at the cave geckos lately. They're really neat.
Oh, they're wonderful.
Somebody has a Yamashine for sale. Somebody has a Yamashine
really?
for sale. I saw
that Jeff?
The mail.
Huh.
That's Jeff Hagen, maybe?
No.
I know he had some at Tinley. He had a couple at Tinley.
Does he have boys or
on
girls?
His table. Boys.
Yeah.
Their eyes are so seductive. I just love those eyes. They're just like, oh my goodness.
Oh, you know, and they're like little ninjas too. Like, I call them my ninja geckos, because they're semi-arboreal. Even though they're terrestrial, if you give them like cork bark to climb up on the side or whatever, they'll like climb up it and like hang out at the top. Some people get pictures of their geckos like upside down, because they have they're so cute. I love them so much. They have like these claws that are retractable, like a cat's claw.
Oh, wow.
And which is really neat about them too, is they can, and there's one gecko that I'm babysitting, one gecko from my friend Sally, and she is the grumpiest gecko that I have like in my cave gecko collection. And you'll like take her out and she like goes up on all of her feet, like tiptoes, like on little stilts, and then she'll dig her claws into you, like, and won't let go. She's such a weirdo. But yeah, the cave geckos are pretty neat. They're my favorite.
And you can set up a natural vivarium for them. I with the leopard geckos, I have some in aquariums that are, you know, kind of got a cool setup, but I miss that about, because I've had all kinds of reptiles, but I miss setting up the natural vivariums and the plants and just getting the whole ecosystem. You know, I kind of miss that about reptiles. Growing up, I've had all kinds of, you know, semi-aquatic tanks and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, with the Leos, it's hard to do that with the Leos, because I mean they live in the desert where it's just the hard earth. But yeah, the cave geckos, they live in like cave systems. My friend Jeff wrote this amazing article. I'm not even sure if I should be talking about it. But anyway, he let me read it to kind of proof over it and that sort. And he made this graphic about where most cave geckos live, and it's fantastic. I can't wait till it's published. And it's just great information on them. But I have two of my geckos that are in like a naturalistic type vivarium, and they do a lot better in them because it holds humidity better, because they're humid-loving animals. And I keep mine similar to how I keep my crusteds, just a little bit warmer. But yeah, they like the humidity. They definitely do. Especially the orientalis. I don't have any orientalis. That's my next string gecko, but they'll dry out pretty quickly if you don't take care of them.
Weren't you telling me one time about their circadian, like it's better to mist them at night so it mimics the environment, dew point or whatever?
Wait,
That
what
would
was the
make
question?
sense.
The question was, I think you were talking to me about caves once, and you were telling me it's better to mist them in night to mimic like the dew point condensation that occurs in a natural habitat on a
and I do the same
rhythm.
thing. Yeah, exactly. I do the same thing with my crested geckos. I mist them all at night. Sometimes I'll like fall asleep while I'm working and to wake up at like 5 in the morning, like, oh crap, I forgot to mist my animals, and I'll go in and mist them. But yeah, you want to have them. You want to mist them at night, when it's starting to get dark, like so that they're naturally out and about. That's when they'll drink their water and stuff off the droplets. Because they'll drink it out of the bowl, but not as common as drinking it off whatever they see it dripping down from. And then give them a cycle. You'll want to give them a dry out period too. So during the day, you're going to want it to go down to like 50%, and then back up to 80-90%. At night, and just have that continuous cycle going for them. And I have moisture hides for all of them. They're oftentimes hiding in their moisture hides whenever I go in to mist them, because that seems to be more comfortable for them. Wherever you'll see, if you have more than one, and if you like hiding in their little moist hide area.
That's probably what they do in the
Let's
wild.
all say hi to Katie.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Katie.
Hello. I want to say that I think all herpers need to have a warning T-shirt on at all times that herping may be contagious. Yvonne's totally convinced me. She and her husband got me my first gecko, which is a crested gecko that I named Mr. Sticky Toes. And I'll be having Mr. Floppy Feetsies, who's a Halmahera, coming in the spring. And I just wanted to comment that I think she's absolutely right. Facebook is marvelous for getting people in this interesting hobby together. You meet a lot of wonderful people that you wouldn't meet any other way. And it's just been a great experience. Yvonne is wonderful with her geckos. I think they're probably tamer than any geckos I've ever seen before. And she just does a fabulous job. And you've got a new fan for your talk radio show.
Good.
Yay.
I was talking with Jeremy and Morgan, and I said, look how many species Yvonne works with. Why have we never talked with her why have we never interviewed her before? Let's ask her. And it seemed like a great idea.
Yeah, I don't consider anything that I do overly interesting, so I was just like, why? There's nothing that I do that to me stands out in any particular fashion or form. And even my husband and I laugh at me because, other people are over there going, oh my gosh, and we got this new boat and we got this new zero-turn lawnmower, and we're standing over here holding geckos going, we like geckos. We like geckos. We love our geckos. Keeping on geckos. And
well, you were talking earlier about being careful of taking pictures and posting them, and that's so very true. If you take a picture with a digital camera and you download it to your computer and post it on a site, it's one thing. But if your GPS isn't turned off just right and you use your cell phone to do so, they can actually find exactly where you're posting from on GPS.
Thought of that.
So they don't need to know your address. They can find you, and if, like Yvonne said, it's a little bit dangerous.
Oh my God! I never thought of that.
Yeah.
See, I would not even know how to
turn the GPS notifications off on your phone.
Yeah, I would. Like I said, I would accidentally blow something up, and how do I turn it off? Oh,
I don't know how you do it, but it came up about
what you
children.
Yeah, that's definitely something to think about that did not even cross my mind, because I know that if I know your name, a lot of people, there's a woman here in town that I just laugh hysterically at because she's convinced that everything she does, because she has my privacy settings for Facebook are very private, and I laugh at her behind her back. Because there's nothing that you do on the Internet that is 100%. If you are trying to convince yourself that what you are doing on the Internet is private, I've got some swampland over in Tucson that I want to sell you. You know, and it's just like, you know, be careful of what you're doing because you never know who the heck is around the corner that's coveting your dumpy tree frog or whatever. I want that frog. Oh, my goodness.
I want a dumpy tree frog. Those are cool.
They are cool.
They're pretty neat little things.
I want a lychee. I think they look like sock puppets.
They do, don't they?
They're amazing.
Yeah,
Lychees are so
Yvonne,
amazing.
didn't you say that they're poop factories? Lychees. It's known in the trade as
Poop, yes, they're poop machines because you just hold the food in front of the one end and it just shoots right out the other end. My goodness. And they just they eat so much. And I am not saying anything against lychees because they are one of my husband's all-time most favoritist animals in the whole entire world. But they really don't do much. But then I'm kind of used to, you know, Pickle and Karma, and we've got a new guy named TJ that came in, and you know, these guys have a lot of personality and do weird things, and everybody seemed like Karma rolling around like a porn queen in her silky box. Lychees just sit there and go, "What's up?" You know, it's just like, dude, do something, and all they do is stare at you and go, "Roar." And they, you know, they kind of croak or bark or chirp or whistle, and you know, they're really not doing anything, but they're a lot of fun. After a fashion, but yeah, they're not the most. Everybody goes, "I want a lychee so bad," and it's like, well, you know, just get a log and set it in the cage, and you got it covered.
Only if the log has
googly eyes on her.
Oh my gosh! Black says, "Precious hears you."
You'll be in trouble now.
Yeah, I know. Next time I go to do anything, I'll get pooped all over again.
That's right.
Oh my Lord. They are good geckos there, but they are just, when you're used to dealing with these guys that have all the personality, and especially like these crested geckos that are just fruity. They're just goofy. Yeah, they grab the paper towels, and they're like down there rolling around with the paper towels, and it's like, spit the paper towel out. And, you know, the lychee sits there and goes, "Raw," you know, okay.
Now, the howlers are a little bit more active than the lychees, aren't they, Yvonne?
Yes, they're a lot more active. They're a lot more personable. They're a very thinking gecko. You can see the little wheels spinning when they're contemplating things. And, you know, most people look at reptiles and they think, well, you know, their expressions don't change. Well, if you don't think that their expressions change, then you're not spending enough time with them because you can watch their body language and know exactly what they're thinking and what they're saying and what they're contemplating. They're always up to something.
Well, especially
basically,
find the one that decides he's going to dive into your supper plate.
Yeah, and they're always doing something annoyingly random too. I will not go anywhere near the dishwasher or dishes or cook with one on my shoulder because they'll just all of a sudden go, "Hey, that looks really cool. Let me, you know, jump into this skillet," or, you know, whatever it is that you're doing. You really have to watch them because they're very active. They're a lot more active than what, you know, people don't really get into the Halmas because they're drab and they don't sell for a lot of money. And they think that they're not very interesting. Well, they're actually incredibly interesting. They're very intelligent. And it's one of those geckos that's more for a true hobbyist at heart than somebody that wants to breed something to make money because they're absolutely fascinating. And they talk. They're very vocal. They gurgle and kind of chirp at one another and, you know, make noises. And they're a lot different than had a girl write me the other night and was asking a lot of questions because she had managed to get her hands on one up in Canada. And she was asking questions about them, and I said, "Oh, yeah, they do this and that and this and that." And she was just fascinated with learning all the things that these Halmaheras do. And, you know, was asking information about breeding them because I think she had a male and then had found a female or vice versa. So I'm very excited that there are more people that are becoming interested in them. Because they really are really very cool, very, very cool species. They really are. They're They're amazing, and they look at you with such intelligence. And you know how the RCA dog, I know that some of y'all are old enough, how the RCA does the head tilt? The Helmas will do that when you're speaking to them. They will tilt their head back and forth, like, really, really, really? It's very cute, like a German Shepherd listening to a high-pitched tone. They'll tilt their head back and forth, and the Helmas will do that when you speak to them. It's just absolutely adorable.
I can't wait to the spring to get mine. That's the one that Yvonne is raising. I call her Mr. Floppy Feetsy's nursery mama. And I can't wait to get him because he already looks so full of personality. He's just amazing.
They are.
She says he's an absolute nuisance, but I think he's great.
He is. Oh, my God. Nobody heard me say that, right? Right.
No, they all have their own personalities. Sometimes I like geckos with spirits. Some of my leopard geckos are just straight crazy, and I like them the most. Blizzards, a lot of the blizzards.
That's the Diablo Blancos. My Diablo Blancos are not you. I've got one right here. I don't know if she'll do it right now or not, but I've got one, and it always seems to be the Diablo. There she goes. Come here, baby. Can y'all hear her? Listen. No, you're not going to scream? Well, that would be the one time. But I don't know if it's like, you know, the Diablos are blizzards. But they scream, and just to even walk by the racks, you'll hear them in there going, it's like, damn, all I do is walk past you, and you're over there freaking out. Oh. You know, some of the leopard... Yeah, the leopard geckos that are feisty, and any gecko that is feisty and has a lot of spirit to it and wants to sass and bite and carry on, for some reason, those are always the ones that really appeal to me. I was like that with horses, too. It was like, which horse is more likely to kill somebody? That one. Okay, that's the one I want to ride. And that seems to have carried over to all the reptiles, because if it's a reptile that's going to try to take your head off, I'm like, oh, I want to kiss it, you know. I want to hold it. I'm going to hug him and call him George, and he's going to be my friend. I need stitches. You know?
Do you have toques, Yvonne? I can't remember.
I do have toques now. Good family friend of ours bought me some toques at one of the recent shows. So, yes, now we have toques. Have not posted a lot about them. It's not secret squirrel, but I always say, oh, it's secret squirrel. But, yeah, we have baby toques now. Finally, after all this time, we've really been waiting a long time to have baby toques to raise, and we finally got to do that.
I'll be watching to see what your experiences with those are, because I think they're quite fascinating.
When he first picked them up, he that very first night wrote and said, okay, you've got one that's totally chill, and you've got one that's totally psycho, and that's the one that you're going to like. And sure enough, when I go to the exos, because I keep all the nursery cages right here next to me, and that hand just automatically reaches for the crazy one. And he will just sit on my hand and bite me. He's just like, oh, okay, I'm sitting here, I'm looking at the ceiling fan, I'm looking at the other gecko, okay, now I'm going to bite your finger, and I'm going to look at the ceiling fan again. It's amazing. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, you're so cute. You know, I want to tear your face off. You're adorable. Makes no sense. But, yeah, the sassy ones are, everybody talks about, like Jeff saying that the blizzards, everybody talks about the blizzards being psycho, and I don't know if we just have opposite thing going on over here, but we have one blizzard, and he is a total potato. You have to check his pulse every now and then. He does not care what you do.
Yeah, I have some that I've outcrossed to Trimper to Affies, and then I made Max Snows out of them. And I have a few of the females that, they're starting to calm down. They're a little over a year now. But they're just bin challenged. You open the bin, they want out.
Challenged?
Yeah.
I like that.
Oh, my God. Don't get me laughing,
so
please.
much, if you move too quick, they're all over the place. And They're starting to calm down. They're getting some weight on them, and I'll probably breed them this year. I want to make some super snows out of them and see, because I know some super snows, they get weird. They get smaller, or it's and I've seen some great big super snows, but I've seen some that have issues.
Yeah, I got my first, I call it my first real snow. But you and I have had the snow discussion before. I don't think this is a real snow. But I got my first snow from the same man that I got the toe case from, and he's a mentor. Always constantly learning new stuff from him. But I have a super snow from him, and I had heard that the super snows can be kind of whacked out. And my little super snow's like, hey, what's up? Yeah, he doesn't care either. So I have a super snow and a blizzard that are just both like, poke, are you alive?
Yeah.
Say something.
I've seen a lot of the super snows. Well, I've seen people post where they're not as good as eaters, or they don't grow as fast. I don't know. A few years ago, I had one that wasn't a good eater, didn't grow as fast, and that probably goes with any of the morphs, really.
Well, the snows, the max snows, that was kind of a big thing the first couple of years they were out. They actually had to breed them just for vigor, because there were some problems with the growth and the vigor with the first, I think, 2 to 3 seasons they were out, and then after that they got stronger. But the thing with super snows is if you look at their face, like if you look at their facial bones and their structure, it's like flatter and narrower. Like they have a different morphology to their little face. And and I've noticed mine. I have a couple super snows, and I think, in my opinion, from what I've experienced with the ones I have, they're probably prone a little bit more to nostril shedding issues and sinus infections. So I just keep a really close eye on them when they shed, just to keep tabs on that, because they've got it's like it's kind of like when you have little kids that have little round faces and their ear tubes they're flat instead of angled, and they get sinus infections. I think it's kind of like that with the super snows. Their faces are little flat faces, So maybe I'm just crazy.
From breeding.
That's interesting.
If you breed super snow to super snow, you get all super snows, and I think that that may be the problem. People wanted that, so that's what they bred for. But I won't do that. I'll breed a Mac to a super snow, and then you get 50% or something. But
one of the things when I first started talking about a couple years back about wanting to do pure Diablo Blancos is that Matt had warned me about getting, you might wind up with this or that, and people will tell you it's this, but it's really that. That was one of the things that he very first taught me about, was looking at that facial sculpting around the muzzle and the nostrils and the mouth, was the shape there on the difference between them of how their bones and, just the sculpting of the face in general, that once you learn it, you can tell a big difference in them.
Yeah, well, the blizzard and the eclipse eye trait is the biggest thing in those. And the blizzard's a weird gene to work with anyways. It takes over everything from what I've done with it. I have some white and yellow blizzards that look like blizzards, but you can tell kind of, high white sides and where the yellow starts on some of them. But
all the little trade secrets. It has what are the tires called? What are those tires called? White rims? No. White walls? Yeah.
White
walls. Yeah.
High sides.
White walls. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I have a question about shedding. Are you not supposed to mist? Because when I mist Mr. Sticky Toes Viv, he always gets in the way and he always gets wet. And is it true that once they start to shed, until they finish shedding, because Cresties do it so quickly, but you're not supposed to directly mist them, that can make the shed stick? Or is that just not true?
It literally depends on the gecko, because sometimes depending on your situation, your environment, your habitat, et cetera, you can get a gecko wet to the point that they are too wet. A lot of people say, oh, well, they have to have very high humidity to be able to shed correctly. That is absolutely not the truth. Some geckos do need the humidity, some don't. The majority of our geckos stay perfectly dry and shed without the aid of a humid hide. But you can wind up to the point where you miss them, and it will stick to them. And it's just one of those things that you kind of have to pay attention to and know how your gecko works. Well,
I know that I misted the
read your
glass
manual.
wall one. Oh,
yeah.
I misted the wall one time, and he got his feet very wet. And then that was the first time he's ever had stuck shed, and he had it on his toes a little bit. And I thought, well, maybe I did that because. So when I see him turning all milky white a little bit, I back off on the misting. I try to mist the bottom of the bib more, not on the wall. He loves to spaghetti himself into this suction cupped ivy I've got in there. And so I try to get it wet because I know that if it's wet, then he's going to be nice and, humid. But I think I'm going to be more careful of that once I realize, because that's the first time he's ever had stuck shed.
Yeah, it just literally goes by the gecko. Some people swear that, they have to be wet, and others will say they need to be dry. It literally comes down to the gecko. I have some geckos that if you get them wet, you're never going to get the shed off of them. I've got other geckos that if you leave them too dry, you're not going to get the shed off of them. It'll stick. So I think it's just one of those go by. Everybody tries to be an expert and say this is the way you have to do it. There is no expert. You have to pay attention to what your animals do and what your animals say, and know what each specific animal needs in order to thrive its best way.
Well, that's very good advice, because I think they are very different, not just by species, but like you say, by absolute individuals.
Yeah, by each animal individually. And it's a lot of work. You'll hear people say, well, I don't have time to, look at each animal. And I'm like, well, maybe you need to get rid of a few.
That's right.
If you don't have
I know I'm letting him out a lot more. We have someone in one of my favorite sites that I won't mention on Facebook, but one of the fellows is very joking, and he literally bullied me into handling my gecko. I'd had him for almost a year. Yeah, get that gecko out and play with him and give him some lavins, because I was terrified, because this little thing flies. I mean, I know he doesn't literally fly, but you'd think he flies. And I was just terrified. We live in a very old house, and over 100 years old, and the floorboards have little cracks in them. And at the time, he was so small, I thought, my God, if this thing gets out of my hands, I'm never going to find him. And eventually, after being bullied in quite a good way, I finally got him out the other day, my fellow and I, and we took him in on the bed and let him absolutely walk around free. And it was such a fabulous experience. I'm just experiencing him all over again with a new personality, different personality, and it's fabulous. These guys are great.
Rod is one of my personal mentors.
I hate to break you guys up. We have 2 minutes left. I'm sorry. We have 2 minutes left.
Well, thank you so much. It's been so enjoyable.
Sponsor stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I need to thank our generous sponsors for this show. This is brought to you by Luxurious Leopards, Lilith, Leo Lovables, The Reptile Report Marketplace, Holly's Homebred Reptiles, Happy Gecko Sticky Situation, Top Notch Leopard Geckos, and Fire and Ice Geckos. Thank you very much for helping us out with this episode.
And also Thor Gecko. Gotta mention Morgan.
Yep. Yeah, Morgan at Thor Gecko. He's the one that owns it, and he's the one that let me in and help him out for a month, and he should be back next week. And I don't know exactly what he has in store, so yeah, Morgan will be back next week.
Awesome.
Everybody, thanks for the wonderful conversation. It's been so much fun.
Yes, thank you very much for everybody for calling in and making this show go very smoothly.
I'll be listening next week for sure.
Well, good.
Awesome. I'm glad we have a new listener. That's great.
We need
Yvonne,
to do this again.
Thank you very much for spending your time with us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a huge amount of fun. We need to do it again sometime soon when you don't have famous people scheduled.
You'll have to talk to Morgan. He's the one that's going to be running the show.
Yeah,
And, I honestly think I lost at least 5 pounds from giggling tonight, Yvonne.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. I would like to thank
thank
everybody.
you guys. It's been an awesome
show.
show.
Have a wonderful evening.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody have a great evening and be safe, and we will be talking soon.
All right. You
thanks,
too.
Kirby.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.